One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.
In this situation, and you have some pretty notable media members who cover Arizona athletics, when they are not the ones who break the story, is there any sort of frustration that you sense from them that they haven't been alerted, informed? Obviously, all these journalists that's their job, right? To break the story first. Mm-hmm. That's what they're after. But is there any sort of animosity dynamic that plays out there?
Not that I feel. I think in general, we try to do a good job of taking care of the folks who are breaking these pieces of news. But I don't think, because we're not making a decision in most instances who leaks it. For instance, Greg Hansen with the Arizona Daily Star was the one that broke the news about Greg leaving to Alabama. And so how that comes to fruition, I think, is part of their job, and I'm comfortable with it without them giving me a heads up. When Greg Hansen tweeted that Greg was leaving, I obviously knew, but he didn't text me or call me and say, hey, I've got this news and I'm going to go public with it. In the same fashion that when the folks in Detroit broke this news, they got it from a reliable source and were comfortable reporting it. So I think it's all part of the communications media relationship, as long as you're not doing anything intentional to kind of hurt them or deter them. Or, for instance, if a media member called me and said, I have this information, it's solid, and I'm going to go public with it, and I went through the process of asking him, can you hold off? Can you do this? Can you do that? And then we broke it, or somebody else broke it that may be a competitor's of theirs, that I could see as being detrimental to the relationship. But because that didn't happen, particularly in this situation, I don't think there's any animosity from them. Would they like to break the story? Of course they would. But that doesn't always come to fruition in those situations.
So let's fast forward on one other item, and that's the press conference. And once Dave is on site and you walk through, or you and your team, senior team there, walk through how this is going to work, how much feedback did he give you guys on, what, I'm just using an example, I'd rather be sitting down to make all my remarks, or I'd rather be standing up. How much fluidity is there in that conversation when you've planned everything in advance?
Well, I think that probably changes depending on who the person is. Dave was extremely flexible. I think he came in here with a mindset of, these folks know what they're doing. They seem to have a good plan, and I'm just going to roll with the punches. So when we finally determined the time, date of his introductory press conference, we then took a second schedule that we had built, one for that day, to move through a number of meetings, to move through the press conference, to move through some informal interviews with media members. We shot a number of videos with him. We did a photo shoot. We did some one-on-ones with our TVs. And that's in and around dinners for the opportunity to meet administration, to meet influential donors and key Wildcat Club members and folks that we felt like needed to have the chance to sit with him. And so I think he just came in and said, all right, well, this, you guys have clearly prepared. There's clearly a plan here for my brief time in Tucson. I'm just going to roll with the punches and let you guys direct me so that we can pull something off in the most professional fashion possible. So when he got here, other than talking with him and texting throughout the time around his announcement, and then since then, we didn't really go over the details of it until a meeting that morning. So I think he was just kind of taking it as, all right, here we go. I'm going to, I have a press conference at 11 a.m. We're going to, go over some facts about Arizona and have a chance to sit and talk with Dr. Hart about the press conference and what we want to say and what we want to address and how we want to address it. I don't think he was concerned about the where and the how, but more the substance of those items. So I sat down with him and a group at about 9 a.m. on Thursday morning, and I took him through what his schedule would be for the day, who he'd be meeting with, how we get from one place to the next, and why we were doing these particular tasks, so he had an understanding of what these elements we were creating were going to be used for. And I think he felt really comfortable. I commend him because he has so many things going on in his mind. I'm sure I can't imagine what it must be like to be hired as a new AD, and so many points you want to address and so many things you want to get taken care of and get started on, that taking those details out of play for him and letting him know that he was in good hands from the start of that day to the finish, and then moving forward, was really my most important goal. I had about an 8-page packet that I put together for him that included the schedule of the day, some facts about Arizona athletics, certainly the story of Bear Down, and understanding why we say Bear Down, which can be tricky to folks who aren't keenly aware of that. We went through potential questions at the press conference. We went through media members that had RSVP'd for the press conference, so we'd have an idea of what names were there, and then a couple of different scripts for video shoots, one for our fans and our donors, one for our A Club, our Letter Winners Association, some live reads for our Wildcat Club that could be used and incorporated in some of the videos they're producing, and then a shot list of a photo shoot with headshot and portrait shots and things over at the football stadium and here in McHale. And I think when he got that, I think it probably eased his concerns a little bit, if he had any, of feeling the need to worry about the details. I think he saw that we had it under control. We had a good plan. We were going to be able to knock things out efficiently and have some valuable elements together to use to kind of promote his hiring, as well as send some messaging to some key people.
And that's today's One Question, brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. One Question is designed to give D1 Ticker subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.